today's little journey is just to Saint-Tropez and back. Good morning. It's been about 3 days here, which has been educational. There's been a few things about the boat that I've learned. It does rock and roll a bit more than I'd like, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. A sailboat, stick and rag, has a keel, and it hangs down maybe 1.5 to 2 meters into the water, and it's a big fin, and that means that the boat doesn't roll as much, whereas my keel goes down half the distance and it's much rounder bottom, so the boat rolls when there's anything coming that way, especially if it comes in sideways. That's not fun. A relatively undramatic exit. I'm just going to go out to sea for about another 100 yards and then a slight turn right. Of course I spoke too soon, and port engine's running hot again, but we've already left, so I'm just going to go on one engine. I've shut that one down, just going to go on one engine and get back to the marina. I'm just going to stop here for a little bit before I go in to the marina, just because it's good practice to just go somewhere and drop anchor. There's a couple of things I want to do on the boat. It's a bit stressful coming through all the big boats, but then you realize they're all anchored, they're just waiting, so they're not moving around. If they were all moving, that would be different, but they're all pretty stationary. So anyway, I'm just going to go in a bit further here. I've got 10 meters of depth right now. I want it to be about 6. So we'll just keep going in and wait until I drop anchor. Being on a boat is more about mooring in a comfortable place than almost anything else. One thing you want is a working refrigerator, because you gotta make ice. Don't ask. And the second thing is, a good mooring spot is worth gold, because you might think you have a nice spot like I did the past few days, but honestly it was like rolling and rocking, and but it looked great on paper, but when you got there you're like, okay, this will work, and it kind of just didn't. Whereas this place is fantastic. I mean, it's a big, wide, open space. However, this is a mooring spot, but it's a sheltered mooring spot. There's a whole big, thing over there that just protects this whole area from bigger waves, like the swell. The waves don't really matter. It's the swell that matters, and it's completely different from a wave. Wave is a little thing like this. The swell is the overall movement of the ocean. So you're like, what the fuck is going on? And there's no reason for it. It's just a couple of things happened way over there that all coincided to center in on your boat at that moment. So, however, there are no shops. I can't row. If I rowed my dinghy away from this boat, I would never see my boat again. But you find a balance between a good mooring spot and shopping. It's those two things. Okay, we can go away for 2 weeks, but we've got to do some shopping first. And I also kind of figured out the solar problem, I think. When there's something wrong with your power, it's like having a dog latched onto your leg. You're like, yeah, puppy, nice dog, yeah, but it's biting your leg and it hurts, and you can't sleep because the damn thing's got latched onto your leg. Well, I made the vicious dog go away. I think I sorted out my power, but to be honest, I don't know how. I just turn things on and off, and they seem to work afterwards. I doubt the mic will pick this up, but there's a really low rumble off in the distance. I am going back to bed, don't worry, but I just thought you'd like to see what it looks like first thing in the morning. Not bad. We've spun around. I'm just trying to work out which way is north. North is that way. So today I gotta go pick up a book at the marina, which is about 3 kilometers which way? 3 kilometers that way. And I'm just going to come back here tonight because I know it's like returning to the scene of the crime, really, isn't it? You know what it's like. You don't have to go adventuring. The one constant, ongoing problem that I will always have, probably for the rest of my life, is power. I mean, it's great being out on a boat here, and I have good solar, but when you're rendering stuff on the computer, it becomes a power-hungry monster and will drain your batteries faster. So every now and again I have to run the generator, and it's less than ideal because it's so peaceful and quiet out here, apart from that one little generator. And I mean, I'm like a good 150 meters from the nearest boat, but I think the sound just goes across the surface. And being on a boat by myself, I mean, people go, "Oh, you came from London by yourself?" I mean, it hasn't been just me the whole way, but a lot of it has. It's not normal. People don't usually do this on a boat like this with one person, but didn't have a choice most of the time. Anyway, and then trying to produce little films that are interesting, informative, witty, professional, whilst doing all the stuff on the boat is way more difficult than people might imagine. Because you've got to keep everything organized, you need constant power, you've got to upload and download, so you've got to have good links. I've got the Starlink, which has been very useful. I'm using a cheap Android phone that I bought for 169 euros. And I found a very good French mobile system. It gives me mobile data, gives me 200 gigabytes for 23 euros a month. Or if I use it faster, they just charge me another 23 euros. Every time I use the 200 gigabytes, I get charged another 23 euros, which is fantastic. I don't have to think about it. It works. It's so much better than the English one that I had before. They were charging me all sorts of money, and but even getting the French phone was difficult because you've got to have a quotes French address and a French bank account. But by all sorts of finagling and whatever, I managed to do it. It's been fun doing this because it's always an exercise in problem management. This is supposed to be a 350 watt inverter, and I connected it up to the fridge, which is about 100 watts, maybe 120 when you turn it on. And the second you turn it on, overload. And I thought I'd got the problems of power all solved, but I think there's something draining the main battery, and I'm not quite sure what it is yet. As I suspected, the sort of internal system has not enough water in, so I'm going to put some more water in that. Okay, we have the anchor up, just drifting a little bit with the wind. I need to set the autopilot, and off we go. So we're going north-northwest for about 2 kilometers, and then we hang a slight left, go back down that channel again, and then I'll find a place to moor up. Oh man, it's not like physically exhausting, but you got to think quick and act quick because you don't want to bump into other people's boats. And although it is usually useful to have someone helping you, if you tell that person this line to that cleat, that one, and then you go off and do something else, you come back and you find that it's on the wrong cleat, and then you've got to do everything over again. I turn the air conditioner on when I'm in a marina, not really to affect the temperature, though that is a little bit nice. The real reason is to drop the humidity. You can't see how humid it is here, but if humidity was a picture, it's this. I mean, it's not the Ecuadorian jungle, but that's how much water this relatively small air conditioner puts out. It's about 2 liters of water every hour. And at some point I'm gonna have to make a proper cover for this instrument panel, because there's a very low dew point in the mornings and everything is just soaked, and you don't really want the instruments getting soaked. My friend and his very large catamaran came back early this morning. And you have a swimming hole.
Yeah, yes, it is
emergency.
Yes, emergency. Yeah. Yes.
And then you go down here, all the way, and there's another cabin in here. Cool.
Oh, thank you. My name is Lionel Para, and you can rent the boat if you want.
And here's all the technical stuff. Because boating, you spend so much time on computers, right? Yeah. You're like looking at ports, looking at the wind, looking at the current, looking at fuel, and you spend so much. I spend more time on the computer now.
Yes.
Than I did before.
Yes, but not me. I try to spend a lot of time on the deck, you know. The most important is to be outside.
Yeah. One of the issues that you have when you're dropping the hook is that you don't know how much anchor chain you've let out. So what I'm doing is painting the anchor chain. It won't last long, but there'll be a little bit left, and enough to let me see that I've let out 20 meters of anchor. Because then you know, if you're in 5 meters of water and there's sand down there, 20-25 meters is all you need to let out. And now I'll know, because as you see the anchor go over the edge, it'll suddenly turn red and I'll be like, that's 20 meters of anchor chain. And I did buy a swim ladder thing, but honestly it wasn't quite deep enough, and I still looked like a complete twat when I was trying to climb out of the water. So I went back and bought the longer version, and now I can look elegant when I climb out of the water. Much better. Today is Bastille Day, French Independence Day, and there's supposed to be a big fireworks display tonight, and it's supposed to be just over there somewhere, but I don't know. So what I'm going to do is, I'm supposed to be out of here today, but if I leave first thing in the morning after the fireworks display tonight, because that'll obviously be dark and I don't really want to be moving around when it's dark, so I'm just gonna hang out until the morning and then figure it out from there. Good morning. We are saying goodbye to Port I forget now. Anyway, we're leaving here. We're only going about 6 or 7 kilometers out the channel, and then just gonna drop anchor 1 or 2 days, don't know, then go across the bay, get some fuel, and then carry on around the coast. That's the plan. That's quite a nice view for the morning. Just a few boats going out to sea. That'll do. One of the best things about being out here, like miles from anywhere, I mean, there's a town way over there. It's about 6 kilometers away. Really, it's just a big industrial complex. There's a lot of refineries there, but there's no other towns anywhere near. But being this far offshore means there's no freaking bugs. You don't want to see my legs. It looks like I was bitten by a shark. I hate mosquito bites. It's a little bit weird because I'm, you know, a couple of miles from anywhere called land. I like it. We are back at the same place. That's kind of funny when you do that. You kind of chase your tail. The wind was blowing from this direction, so I left and went way over there, thinking that there'd be less waves and stuff. When I got there, the wind had changed to this direction, so it's very windy and bumpy over there, so I had to come all the way back, but now it's nice and calm back here again. Bit shallow here. I mean, it's 2 meters, so 6 foot under the keel. Not bad. Pretty safe. There's no tides anyway, so people forget that. There's just, I mean, there are tides in the Mediterranean, this much, but I have learned a lot today. Just puttering around, figuring things out. It's tempting just to gun it to Malta. Like, I could do it in 15 days if I had to. It's not gonna happen. This way is the easiest way to stow poffles. If I need to use the boat, I can just lower it down and go. If I need to store it, I can just flip it back up. So, moving off. It's been a nice couple of days. We are going north. Approaching the harbour. It's about another 2 kilometers away. Very quick little trip today, but good, really good. There's a huge tug coming in right there, so he's obviously going to want to go in front of me. I don't think he'd even stop if I got in front of him. He would, but you know, I wouldn't want to put it to the test. There's a lot of boats out here. It's a little scary. It's like there's a little pleasure boat coming in just from there, but I don't know if he's going into the harbor or not. Can't tell. No, he's not going into the harbor, and we're kind of in his way. So I took the long way round because I didn't want to get in front of that tug, but now he's going into the harbor. I'm just going to follow in his wake and go straight in. I want to buy fuel, but I'm sure they're not going to sell it at this time. It's about 7:30, so I'm just going to find a place to tie up and get fuel in the morning and scoot out of there. And that's the little pilot boat that just told that other big boat where to anchor. So he's just going in front of me because he can do what he damn well wants. He owns the place. I just had a very funny interaction with a French gentleman who had never come across Google Translate before, and so he would talk very quickly at me in French, and I would stop him and I'd do a little translate, and then I'd hold it out to him and he would just say nothing. And he didn't understand sign language, like talk, you talk. This is the nice little marina of Port Napoleon, B-O-U-C. I don't know how you pronounce that, but I'm just here for one night. It's just across the bay from the last place I was staying, so but here they have fuel, and fuel is important and expensive.
There's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pay yourself on the phone. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be an happy young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, while you trod on your door.